Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and this week's video. This is actually a really long overdue video. I had a delivery from Nail Sugar probably about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, and unfortunately it has just been sat with all my nail stuff and I haven't had time to properly go through it, show you what I've bought and try it out and show you some of the designs that you can do. So please bear with me with this video because some of them I actually wanted for Christmas and winter. Now whilst we are still kind of in winter, the Christmas time has slightly passed, so we'll be slightly out of date with that, but even still it's a great way to show you some of the products that they have and just kind of be creative, I guess. So just for a bit of background, Nail Sugar is owned by a lady called Karen. It started several years ago. Karen is actually a qualified nail tech, but started up her own business, and Nail Sugar sells glitters, like little, I'm trying to think of even the words, like, so there's so much there. So there's glitters, she's got chrome powders, she has like the little confetti things that you can stick on your nails as well. She literally has everything, and everything is so well priced, and I got it within like 2 days of ordering, which was absolutely amazing. And she also had a lovely little freebie in there. So without further ado, let's just dive right in and show you what I've got. I will leave links to Nail Sugar in the description box below, along with all my social medias as normal. If you liked this week's video, please do like and subscribe. Hit the little bell button so you're notified when I upload a new video, and I hope you enjoy.
Hi guys, voiceover me here. So here I am just opening up the little box, and it all comes packaged in this lovely little tissue paper, and you can see all of the items in here. Apologies, the lighting isn't that great. I ended up filming this at about 10 o'clock at night, so it's not the best. But as you can see, there's a lovely little freebie lolly in there, which I ended up sucking on whilst I was filming this video. And here I'm just going over some of the little things that arrived. So just opening up the first one, which is Dragonfly, and it's just this beautiful turquoisey green. I ended up getting almost like a dragon scale vibes sort of thing from this, with all of the different sizes of glitters. And the next one is Cookie Crumble, and this is a really pretty, just silvery kind of sparkle. There's some lovely little purple flecks in there. I couldn't probably get it to focus on the camera in the bag, so I'll just show you the back here where you can see all the colours better. And the next one is Snowstorm, and like I said, some of these were bought for Christmas, but I just haven't got round to showing you them before then. But as you can see, there's some lovely big chunky snowflakes in there. And Nocturnal is one of my favourites. I have a few favourites here. But it's just this beautiful black with purple, blue and pink flecks in there. I did some swatches, but it doesn't pop up that well, unfortunately. The next one is Pink Tourmaline. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this is, again, one of my favourites. Just look at how pretty that is and how all the different flecks move in there. I absolutely love it. I just think it's gorgeous. We then move on to Majesty, which is like a blue version, almost similar to the Snowstorm one. And again, it's got some chunkier flecks in there, like blue glitter things in there. And I just think it's really, really pretty. Blue Lagoon is a very fine glitter. And as you can see, it's a really lovely, lovely shade of blue. And then we have Crushed Opal. This one is quite similar to one of the first ones I showed you. I think it was Cookie Crumble or Crystal Crumble actually. And it's just a really pretty like white glitter with holographic flecks in there. And again, this came up so nice in the swatches. We then have Diamond Dust, which is an even finer glitter. But again, comes up really similar. Quite a few of these are like very similar shades, but I think they're all really pretty anyway, and I like to have a little mix there. And then I ordered as well some of these little Christmas trees that I used on some nails, and these can be used all year round really. They're really great. And then there was also just a little freebie. Look at all the mess this glitter made. It is literally everywhere. It's taking me forever to clean up. It's even in my lamp. But no, they're all really pretty. So here are all the swatches together, along with the glitter in the packet. You can see that they're all really pretty. These all came out a lot better than the very first one I did, which was Nocturnal. I struggled actually swatching that one properly, so you'll see that one's not so good, but all of them are there. And without further ado, we'll get into a little design. So I've already done all of my prep. I have cleaned the nails, pushed the cuticles and everything, and I am just going in with my primer. This is all SBD London, the primer and the top coat and stuff that I'll be using, along with the signature gel, and all glitters in this little video are all Nail Sugar, and they are the ones that I ordered in the bundle that you just saw. So I apply the primer to all of my nails, careful not to touch the skin or the cuticle. And then I take my rubber base coat, because it is my favourite base coat to use. And I just apply this to all of the nails, and then I pop it in the lamp for 1 minute. Please excuse the dryness of my nails and my hands. I suffer with eczema, and this weather has not been doing my skin any favours. So I'm really quite finicky when I put my base coat on. I like making sure that the nail is completely covered, and that there is nothing spilling over the sides or touching any of the skin. So there you go, just zooming in so you can actually see what I'm doing slightly better. Then once all the nails are done, I pop them in the lamp for 1 minute, and I am using my SBD London L1 lamp. It's absolutely amazing. I have done a previous video on the actual lamp, so check that out if you want to see it. I then go in to use my SBD London forms. I just move them slightly just so they're a bit more bendy, and I pinch it at the very tips just to get the numbers dead even down the centre, and then form it up on my nail, play around with it until I'm happy. Pop the top tabs in, and they kept on popping, and then I was ready to start with the extension. So I take my SBD London slip solution, put it in my little dish. I pour out quite a reasonable amount to use. I then take my SBD London gel brush in number 4, I think. Dip it in the slip solution and wipe it on the paper towel just to remove any excess. I take my SBD London signature gel and the spatula, and I just take out quite a fairly big bead of clear just to pop on the natural nail. And as I've said in previous videos, signature gel is basically polygel. It's just the SBD London name for it, just like Acrogel. They all do the same thing, there's just a slightly different name. I love the SBD London signature gel. All of my extensions are now done in it. It's so easy to work with and move, and it's really quite strong actually. I really like it, and that clear is just so clear. Even after filing, it's still really clear. So just zooming in again there for you, just so you can see how I move it. Just making sure that I get my cuticles nice and even. I try not to go too close to it, but but close enough just so that there isn't a huge gap between them. And the reason I like sculpting on forms rather than tips is that I can get the rough shape of the nail done. Filing is probably my least favourite part of the whole process, and it's an area that I'm still perfecting, whereas sculpting just kind of aids that process. It means I don't have to spend so long filing and that I can get the basic shape there. I would like to just add that I am still only fairly recently qualified. I only qualified in August of last year, so that's 5 months ago, 6 months ago, if my maths is correct. I hope it is. So I'm still learning and perfecting everything. There are some shapes that I can do much easier. I decided I wanted coffin for these nails, and you'll see that a couple of them are just slightly shaped slightly wrong. I did go in later the evening and just reshape them up slightly. But the signature gel cures in a lamp for 1 minute. I do tend to put mine in for a minute and a half just to make sure that everything is cured properly. But you shouldn't have to do that. You should be fine. So I then go on to do my next fingers. So I just did it on all of them, and you'll see that they've all got the extension on now, and I'm just doing my little finger just to speed up this video slightly because it's quite a long one already. So same process, just popping the gel on in the lower centre of the nail, and then I drag it up until I'm happy with it, and then I go in and perfect the cuticle area. If you do find that you've got too much product on there, just take the spatula and scrape some of it off, and you can pop it on another nail, or you can just remove it. The good thing I like about this is that unlike gel, it doesn't run over the nail depending on the viscosity of the gel that you've got, but it doesn't dry down hard like an acrylic would in the air. You have to put it in the lamp to cure it. So I'm a little bit finicky. I like making sure that I don't have any grooves or anything in there, but I pop it in the lamp for 1 minute once I'm happy, and this is what they look like. I take my little brush, pop some cleanser on it, and I brush it all over the nails. I find that this is an easier way to clean the nail without having to use up all my lint-free pads. You can see there's quite a nice C-curve on that little one there. So I just take my boomerang file. This is 180 grit, and I file my sidewalls and the free edge of the nail lightly. And then I take my 150 grit file, which is slightly coarser, and just neaten everything up better. I use the 180 grit on the sidewalls first, just to get the shape in a little bit, and then I like going in with my 151 because it does the job slightly quicker. And I've already started doing quite a lot of the bit of the sidewalls with the 180 beforehand. They don't always need too much work, it just depends on how well I sculpted them out. But here you can just see I'm more buffing the surface of the nail, getting it all smooth, and then I do go into the sidewalls occasionally just to make sure that I was happy with how they looked. And I accidentally knocked the camera with the file because I had to have it in an awkward position in order to film it properly. And then I do the same thing, take my 180 down the sides and just file them into shape. And I just did this until I was happy with all of them. You can see that this one is one of the ones, the slightly dodgier one. I didn't actually sculpt this one out as long as the others, but I just buff over the top just to make sure I have a nice even surface for easier application of the glitters. Yeah, see, there you can see just one side of the nail is slightly angled more than the other one. But it's not a problem. This is all part of practicing. You just perfect your technique until you're happy with it. I was a little bit disappointed at the time when it was a bit of a fail. But, you know, you don't get better without having mistakes. You learn from your mistakes and you can go from there. Nobody started out absolutely amazing. You learn as you go. So I did quite a thin layer of the signature gel. To build out the extension, you'll see that there isn't much of an apex there. That is just because I'm encapsulating glitters, so I'll be doing another layer of base coat over the top, popping the glitters on, and then encapsulating in the clear signature gel. The top layer will be the thickest one because that will be the one that I file over just to get an even surface. So I wanted quite a thin layer to be able to build upon, so I didn't have really bulky nails. And the signature gel is absolutely amazing for being able to encapsulate. Highly recommend you try it and see where you go. All links to the products in today's video will be linked in the description box below, so you can check those out if you want. So the next thing I do is, after filing, I cleanse the nails and I take my Secura Pink signature gel and I'm trying to work out what nail I wanted to pop it on. So I did a couple different patterns on this hand of nails, and I decided that I kind of wanted to have a glitter kind of smile line on this finger. So I took my my Secura Pink, which is quite a natural pretty pink nail bed colour. It's quite sheer. You can build it up so you have a really full coverage pink, or you can just have a like a natural sheer cover. So I just popped this on and moved it around until I was happy with the shape of it. You'll see that it is quite bulky, so I did just take some of it off. I dip my brush in my slip solution and I just manoeuvre it around until I get the rough semicircle shape, I guess. And the top bit was where I was going to pop my glitters, and you know, along the sides as well. And there you can see that it is quite a sheer pink. You can still see a little bit of the natural nail bed underneath, and I didn't mind that actually. I quite like that. So I was just perfecting all of it and making sure that it was nice and even, and that I was happy with the shape and the thickness of it. Just patting it down a bit more because it just wasn't quite right. And then I popped that in the lamp and I moved on to my next finger. This one I just put the colour all over it. And this one was going to be a sort of glitter fade, I guess. And again, I had quite a sheer amount on there. I didn't want anything too much. I wanted the glitter to kind of be the main focus. So just play around with it until you're happy. I wasn't quite happy with this one and I put it down to the sculpting and the filing of the nail. This is the dodgy one. So it didn't quite go how I wanted, but you can just see how easy it is to move about and scrape off if you've got too much on there. And I think I did end up putting another thin layer of the Secura Pink signature gel on this one just because it was a little too sheer. But I needed to have the base colour down in order to build upon the next layer without having too much product on my nail. And you can see side by side to the other finger that there's just not enough pink on the actual nail bed section. but pop that in the lamp for 1 minute just to cure it. I gave it, I think I did a little less than a minute just to give it a flash cure. And I went on to the next finger, and this one was, I didn't really know what I was doing with this one. It was more of a just sprinkling the glitter on, I guess. So it was like a little glitter trail. And it turned out quite well, so you'll see at the end how this one looks. Once I was happy, I put it in the lamp, and then I cleansed the nails again. I did leave my thumb and my pinky finger without any extra product on there, just because I didn't need it for the design. But I take my file and I just go over that first finger where I'm going to have the smile line, just to make sure I was happy with it. And then I went over the other nails just to buff them slightly. There were a few bits where there was a little bit too much product, and I just wanted to make sure that I had my overall shape still there. And I did this with my 180 file. Just went over everything quite lightly. You'll see that I don't buff it too much. I didn't want to file away the pink. So I just do a cleanse after the file, and then I decided to go in with these two glitters. So I'm using pink tourmaline, and I think it's crystal crumble is the other one that I'm using. Oh no, crushed opal. So I just take my base coat and I pop a thin layer on there, just so the glitter had something to stick to. And then I just sprinkle some out onto my mat, just so I had somewhere easy to pick it up from. And I decided to mix in some of the other colour, just so it wasn't so pink, and I had some finer glitter bits in there. And I just mixed it in with the back of my brush. So you'll see that I pop it in with the brush. It mostly picked up some of the finer bits to start with, which actually I quite like. So I made sure that I had glitter all over that area. And I made sure to drag it down to the side walls where the end of the smile line would be. And then I tried to take up some bigger, chunkier bits of pink tourmaline, just because it's really pretty when it reflects in the light, and I want to kind of capture that in the nail. And it was a real challenge getting it to stick. So you can see there's some slightly smaller bits in there. Some of the bigger chunks just did not want to stay put at all. But I managed to get them in there eventually. And I just drag it about until I'm happy. I ended up using my finger just to kind of press them in there and flick off any extra bits that were too big. And then I popped him in the lamp for 1 minute just to kind of cure down so the glitter stuck. And then I took the lighter glitter and just kind of popped that all over the nail, so I kind of had a bit of like an ombre effect going on. And I just popped this quite heavily on the top and then try to drag it down slightly and have little flecks of glitter down there. And you'll see that there is quite a bit of glitter on the nail currently, but I do take some of it off just because there was a little bit too much. Yeah, there you go. See, I start flicking some of the bigger bits of pink tourmaline away. I did decide when I did the second hand that there was an easier way to put the glitter on the nails, and that was just to scoop it up with something else and sprinkle it on. But to start with, I did just use the brush because it seemed like the easier way to get a more accurate distribution on the nails. So I just put base coat on my thumb and my little finger, and I go in quite heavily with the glitter, just picking up as much as I can and popping it all over the nail because I wanted to have two fully covered glittery nails. And you'll see that there really is quite a lot on there, and I just make sure that the whole nail is covered. And I just move it about until I'm happy with how they look. I added just a little bit more pink because I felt like I needed some more pink. And I just pressed it about until I was happy. So I then decide it's actually easier to pick up the spatula, and I just pop this one on. So this is the nail that's kind of like a glitter trail. I put a thin layer of base coat just like in a little swiggle, and then I pick up the glitter and I just pop it on in the place that I think is right. Cure it in the lamp for 1 minute, and then I take my clear signature gel and I just go over the top and encapsulate all of the glitters just to make sure that none move. I did brush off any excess just to make sure that I didn't have any excess loose glitter on there and that everything that was on the nail was stuck down before I applied the signature gel. And I just take the brush and pop it on all over the nail and move it around until I'm happy. And this is the point where I build up my apex for each nail. So I do this exact same process for the whole of the nails, popping the clear on, removing any if there's too much on there, and just moving it around until I'm happy. And then this again goes in the lamp for 1 minute, just to kind of cure everything. And then I take it out and this is what it looks like. I give it a cleanse just to remove the tacky dispersion layer, and then I start finish filing. So this is what they look like currently. They look a bit dull just because there's no top coat on them, and I cleanse them. But I go in with my 180 file. I go round the cuticles just to make sure I have a nice smooth area, and then I buff the top of the nail. So I just do the same thing to all of the nails, finish file all over the top just to make sure that I don't have any lumps or bumps and that the rough shape of the nail is still there. Dust off any of the excess dust, take the cleanser on my little brush and I go over all of the nails again, making sure to give them a nice good clean. I then clean my mat and I put a thin layer of top coat over the top, and you'll see just how shiny this makes all of the nails once it's cured. And I use the Tempering Top Coat by SBD London. It's a no wipe top coat, it's high shine, and it's just a little bit extra strong. It's a little bit stronger than some of the others. It's scratch resistant as well. It's my go-to top coat. You can just see how pretty it makes those glitters look. Now we're almost done. So I just go over the free edge of the nails with the top coat just to make sure that there's no lifting, and I pop in the lamp for 1 minute. And then I take my SBD London Almond Cuticle Oil. This is my favourite go-to one. It smells so nice. I just pop it all over the nails and on the underside where the nails can be a little bit dry. And I just massage it in. And this just leaves the fingers nice and soft after. And this is what they look like. I love them. I think they look great. Thank you for joining me in this week's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.